Hey everyone, today I'm talking about creativity and self-sabotage. This is such a big problem for INFJ personality types and INFP personality types who are writers and artists, or even those of us who maybe we don't consider ourselves an official writer or an official artist, but we are really drawn to creative work, and we know we're creative, we have a highly creative temperament, but we also know we self-sabotage. Why do we self-sabotage? Well, first of all, we often don't know what's going on. A lot of the time when we self-sabotage, we are in avoidance mode and we're not really thinking clearly. We might be distracted, or we might have sort of clouded thinking, or our rationale for doing something seems to make sense at the time, but then we look back and we say, what was I thinking? Why did I do that? We might be rushing. A lot of impatience might come in. So again, we're not really slowing down, thinking things through. And then we're taking actions that sabotage us. Maybe we pull a project that we were very excited about. We announced it to everybody, and then suddenly, we pull it. I'm not doing that anymore. That's a bad idea. When really, we're sabotaging, right? Or we might purposefully ruin a project even. Ruin a book or a story we're working on or a painting we're working on by trying to force it too fast or trying to take it into a direction that doesn't feel natural. So why do we do these sort of things? Self-sabotage, it's always driven by fear. We know that on some level that we are afraid, but what are we afraid of? Well, for a lot of INFJ personality types and INFP personality types, one of the biggest things we're afraid of is that we're actually going to succeed. We are actually going to pull it off, and other people are going to be impressed with whatever it is we've pulled off, or they're going to praise us. And when that happens, when we have succeeded, then we are going to be held to this high standard that we can't possibly ever meet again. And that throws us into a state of panic. Now everyone is expecting something from me. Now everyone is looking at me and they're expecting me to win the award again or jump through the 10 hoops again or whatever it is. They're expecting me to do that again. And what if I can't? If I can't, I'm going to disappoint them. And then they are going to withdraw their approval from me, withdraw their love from me. I'm going to be abandoned because I will have failed. So that's really what's sort of going on behind the scenes with this fear of success, is that then we're going to be held to a higher standard. When we fail to meet that standard, people are going to abandon us. It feels safer inside to say, I'll just stay at this low standard. No one will expect anything higher out of me. So when I only hit the low standard, which I know I can hit, then nobody will leave me, right? There won't be any disappointment. I won't feel like a failure. Other people won't withdraw from me. I can just kind of stay at this low standard forever, and nobody will expect much else from me, but I will also keep the approval, I'll keep the love, I'll feel safe. That's one of the things that's going on behind self-sabotage for a lot of INFJ personality types and INFP personality types when it comes to creativity. Another thing that's going on is fear of exposure. I really have seen this in the past few years when the online world has exploded. I mean, you could say the online world has been exploding, for the past 20 years, which it has, but really in the past 5 to 10 years, it has exploded like never before. Everybody's online, everybody's on social media, everybody's making videos, everybody's publishing a book. This is really par for the course for our culture for these times. And a lot of people, when they're thinking about, I'm going to put my book on Amazon, I'm going to start a Substack, I'm going to be on Instagram, whatever it is, behind that immediately comes this fear of exposure. This is really a big thing for INFJ personality types, I will say in particular, although INFPs also definitely have it. With INFJ personality types, we tend to chameleon a lot, especially if we feel unsure of ourselves or in stressful situations. And so a lot of different people in our lives are actually getting different versions of us. And it's very common for INFJs to feel uncomfortable in social situations where there's a lot of different people who know them in the same room, like a birthday party or, some sort of function where maybe some people they work with and their partner and their high school friends and their parents, all right, like different people that they know are all going to be in the same place, that can make us feel very uncomfortable because we tend to play a different role with each person. We tend to accommodate and chameleon and change depending on who we are around. And when there's so many people in the same room, it gets to be really distressing to us because we can't play that many roles at once. We can't shift that rapidly. And we don't want anyone else to know what we're doing. We don't want our chameleon cover blown in a way, honestly. So that can be very distressing for us. So when we think about starting a blog, starting a Substack or putting our book out there, whatever it is online, we immediately think, oh my gosh, all these people are going to see it. They're going to read it. They're going to see me, or they're going to see the side of me they weren't aware of or they didn't know about. I'm going to feel really exposed, and I don't know what to do with that feeling. Like I said, this also happens for INFP personality types. For INFP personality types, it's not so much the chameleon thing as more as they tend to hold very, very deep, intense emotions inside. And they don't tend to share those deep, intense emotions with people that they don't trust fully. So people might know an INFP personality type in a social situation that's casual, like a workplace situation or a friend group, and say, oh, that person is kind of quiet, and, they seem kind of artsy, but they won't really know the depths of the INFP person because INFP personality types hold so much inside. So when that INFP then thinks about putting their poetry online or publishing their book or, they're, selling their paintings on Etsy, whatever it is, there's this fear of exposure. People are going to see the real, deep, true me, and I don't know that I can trust people with that. That's a part of me that feels very vulnerable, and it's a part of me that I don't feel fully safe sharing with the world. So both the INFJ personality type and the INFP personality type have their own issues with this fear of exposure that are slightly different, but they both affect us in very, very deep ways. Another fear we have is fear of judgment. So this kind of comes on the heels of fear of exposure, right? People are going to see the thing I made, the thing I wrote, whatever it is, they're going to judge me for it. This is especially true if you were raised in a constrictive culture. Like if you were raised in a very oppressive religious environment or cultural environment where this is how you are and this is the role you play and this is how you do life and this is what's expected of you. If you're an INFJ personality type or an INFP personality type and you're moving outside of that in your creative work, then that fear of judgment is really going to show up for you, right? Like when people read my book or my memoir or they see, the paintings I'm doing, they are going to judge me. They're going to judge me as wrong, as sinful, maybe, right? As offensive, as something not good, something not worthy. And then that fear of abandonment kicks in, right? So fear of exposure and fear of judgment, they kind of work together. And then fear of authenticity. This goes back to the chameleon strategy, like fear of authenticity. If I really put myself out there, if I really put my creative work out there, my authentic self, my true thoughts, my true feelings, I'm going to lose that camouflage of being the chameleon. And then I'm going to feel out of control. I'm going to feel not safe because being the chameleon a lot of the time for sensitive, intuitive people, that's how we stay in control and we stay safe, is we become what the other person wants us to be. Like I said, INFJs do this a bit more than INFPs, but INFPs will also sort of do it in their own way. A lot of INFPs will just stay quiet and sort of let the person think whatever they want to think, the other person. INFJs will more actively participate in their own chameleoning, whereas INFPs will kind of like just sit back and let it happen. But either way, when we have this fear of being authentic, we're really afraid that people are going to see us for who we truly are. And they're not going to like it, right? There's going to be backlash. They're going to judge us, whatever it is. So self-sabotage is actually something that feels like it keeps us safe. And it's not something to conquer. I see this so much in the online world, conquering this, conquering that, conquering self-sabotage. It's not something to conquer. It's not something to throw more resistance at. Self-sabotage is always linked to a wound. And it's almost always linked to a wound that happened when you were very young. It's held very deep inside. And it's a very small, vulnerable, scared part of you that is crying out for healing. So it's not something to be conquered, it's something to be healed. I'm teaching a new class, and we're going to be talking specifically about this topic, how to heal self-sabotage in creativity. The new class is called Healing Through Creativity. I'm really excited about this one. I've gotten a lot of feedback from people that they wanted to see me teach a class on just this topic, so I put this together for INFJ personality types and INFP personality types. However, as always, anyone is really welcome. You can be a sensor, you can be an extrovert. I don't really care. This is not like an exclusive sort of personality test you have to get through to join one of my classes. If you're watching this and the videos resonate with you, cool, come on in. And I get that. I say that because I get emails frequently from people who say, it's weird, I'm an ENTP, but I resonate with your videos. Like, is that okay? Can I join a class? Or I'm an ISFJ, but I resonate with your videos. I really don't care what you are. I'm not super into labels. So if you're watching this, you're feeling a resonance inside, it feels right, these are some of the issues you've been dealing with, please feel free to come on into this class, because we're going to be talking about all of this stuff, and we're going to be talking about it very deeply. If you have questions about the class, please send them to me, lauren@laurensapala.com. Please also like and subscribe to my channel. It helps the channel out, helps me out, but you'll also get the next video in this series and many more videos on intuition, being an intuitive personality type, creativity, writing, all sorts of good stuff. Please also subscribe to my newsletter. I send out tons of stuff, including updates and notifications on when the newest classes are launching and when registration is open for those. I teach about a new class every month, so there's always something going on. And I also do a lot of free events. And I have book sales and free books and book recommendations, lots of book stuff, because I'm a book person. I will see you next time with our next video in this series on healing through creativity. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll see you then.